Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, it is now acknowledged, are a force for perpetual embarrassment.
Football has picked its prince, and it isn't Harry. The man who once crossed the globe to support him is now part of the reason he's missing out on one of the biggest events in sports. On July 19th, at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, the World Cup final will bring together presidents, billionaires, celebrities, and some of the most influential people on the planet. But according to reports, Prince Harry won't be among them. Journalist Rob Shooter claims this wasn't simply a case of limited space. The message from insiders was clear. If there was a choice to make, football's loyalty was already decided. As one source reportedly put it, football chose its prince long ago, and that prince is David Beckham. The comparison was hard to ignore.
Because that is why Prince Harry, a man who would have been expected before his move stateside to be one of the faces of the FIFA World Cup being held in the United States of America, has been shut out. And we're hearing it's in large part because of his personal feud with footballing legend David Beckham.
Beckham is a three-time World Cup player, former England captain, and now Sir David Beckham. Harry, meanwhile, was described by some insiders as old news. For someone who once had a place on nearly every major VIP guest list, that kind of shift is impossible to miss. But why would Harry expect a prime invitation to a football final anyway? The answer may have less to do with football and more to do with a long-running personal rift that reportedly began years ago. The story traces back to the Invictus Games in Australia. Beckham reportedly made an extraordinary effort to be there, flying roughly 22 hours to support Harry and discuss future plans. By all accounts, it was a major commitment from one of the biggest names in sports.
Meghan Markle.
Yes, my favorite.
A force for good, or?
Well, I think a force for a perpetual embarrassment. Perpetual.
Are you happy to have her back in the United States?
We are not. We'd love to do a trade.
However, reports claim the meeting never happened. Beckham allegedly arrived only to find that Harry was unavailable and unable to make time for him. After the long trip, Beckham reportedly headed back home without even getting the conversation he expected, a moment some believe marked the start of a lasting divide. Do the math. That's 44 hours of flying, round trip, only for the visit to reportedly go nowhere. For many people, that would be hard to forget. And David Beckham has long been known as someone who remembers both loyalty and disrespect. Moments like that don't simply disappear with time. They tend to stick around. Years later, when conversations about major football events come up, some commentators believe those old tensions may still matter.
When it comes to the official World Cup events, this reporting from Rob Shooter, Prince Harry has not been invited to the FIFA World Cup final. And insiders tell Naughty But Nice the reason is simple: David Beckham.
Whether that played a role in Harry's reported absence from the World Cup final is open to debate, but the speculation hasn't gone away. What makes the story even more interesting is that many reports insist Harry and Beckham were once genuinely close friends. By most accounts, there was no major conflict between them at the start. Instead, attention has often focused on claims that outside influences and misunderstandings gradually drove a wedge between the two sides. One version of the story keeps resurfacing. According to various reports, concerns were raised that information about Meghan was being shared with the British media by people connected to the Beckhams. Harry reportedly took those claims seriously, and the friendship quickly became strained. But critics of that narrative argue there was never solid proof that any leaking actually took place.
This isn't about room on the guest list, an insider tells me. Football picked its prince years ago, and that prince is David Beckham. The snub carries extra sting because Harry and Meghan Markle were once close friends with David and Victoria Beckham.
People familiar with celebrity media circles have repeatedly questioned the accusation, pointing out that the Beckhams have had their own complicated relationship with the press over the years. Because of that, some observers believe the claims may have been based on suspicion rather than evidence. That leaves a bigger question. If the alleged leak was never clearly proven, why did the relationship unravel so dramatically? Supporters of different theories have offered plenty of answers. Some say it was a simple misunderstanding that spiraled out of control. Others believe growing distrust and competing inner circles slowly pushed the two camps apart. Whatever the real cause, the fallout was significant. A friendship that once seemed rock solid eventually fractured, and years later people are still talking about how one of the most famous relationships in celebrity circles fell apart so publicly. Rumors have long suggested there was tension between Meghan and Victoria Beckham. Some reports claimed frustrations grew over business success, celebrity status, and access to influential circles. Victoria built a global fashion and lifestyle brand, while Meghan was pursuing her own path in the public spotlight.
There was some horrible stories that were difficult to deal with.
Whether those claims are true or not, they became a major topic of discussion. What makes the story stand out is that the Beckhams were not the only relationship reportedly affected. Over the years, many of Harry's longtime friendships appeared to fade. Friends from his earlier life seemed to drift away, and observers began noticing that several of the people once closest to him were no longer regularly seen by his side. The same questions have been raised about family relationships. Public disagreements, media interviews, documentaries, and Harry's memoir brought private matters into the spotlight. As more personal details became public, trust within the family was widely reported to have suffered. For many royal watchers, that loss of trust became the central issue. Some family members were said to worry that private conversations could eventually become public discussion. Whether those concerns were fully justified or not, they contributed to growing distance between Harry and several relatives. As a result, invitations and family connections reportedly became more complicated. Critics argue this isn't necessarily about punishment or hostility, but about protecting privacy in a family that values discretion above almost everything else.
Many reports suggest the relationship between Harry and the royal family remains strained. King Charles is often described as keeping communication limited, while reports about William paint a picture of a bond that is still badly damaged. To critics, it looks like Harry didn't just lose a few connections, he watched a large part of his former support network disappear. At the same time, the Beckhams appeared to grow closer to other members of the royal family. David Beckham has publicly supported several of Prince William's projects, while Catherine has frequently been seen wearing Victoria Beckham designs. To many observers, that shift spoke volumes. The contrast between the two stories has fueled endless discussion. As Harry faced public disputes and ongoing controversies, David Beckham's profile continued to rise. He received a knighthood from King Charles, earned major recognition in entertainment, and remained one of the most respected figures in global sports. Victoria, meanwhile, strengthened her position as a major force in fashion. Then came a surprising twist. Harry was named to Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People in Sports for 2026, largely because of his role in founding the Invictus Games. His inclusion placed him alongside some of the biggest names in athletics and immediately sparked debate online. Supporters praised his work with veterans and the impact of the Invictus Games. Critics, however, questioned whether his influence in sports matched that of elite athletes and sports leaders on the list. The reaction was fast, loud, and deeply divided, turning what should have been a positive headline into yet another public controversy. Some critics argued that Harry's inclusion on high-profile influence lists was more about publicity than achievement, while supporters pointed to the success and impact of the Invictus Games. Either way, the debate around the honor quickly became a major story online.
At the same time, attention shifted almost immediately to Meghan's social media activity. Around the period when Harry's recognition was making headlines, Meghan shared a large springing into summer photo collection on Instagram, and much of the public conversation moved in that direction instead. The post included family moments, snapshots of the children, and casual scenes from daily life. There were also clips of Meghan in the kitchen and several nostalgic photos from earlier years. One image that drew particular attention was a black and white picture of Harry and Meghan from 2017. Online commentators quickly began speculating about why an older photo had been included, sparking another round of discussion and theories. The post also renewed debate around Meghan's lifestyle and business ventures. Critics mocked parts of the presentation, while supporters argued it reflected a relaxed and personal approach to sharing family life. As often happens with the couple, reactions were sharply divided. Attention also returned to Meghan's past projects, including The Bench. The book launched during a period when many believed conditions were ideal for a major release. Expectations were high, media coverage was extensive, and the project generated significant interest before it even reached readers. For critics, these moments fit into a larger pattern of ambitious launches that attract intense scrutiny. For supporters, they show how nearly everything connected to Harry and Meghan becomes a headline, with every new project sparking fresh debate across the media and online world. Many believed The Bench had all the ingredients for a major success. It arrived with enormous publicity, global name recognition, and widespread media attention. Yet its sales performance quickly became a topic of debate, with critics arguing that the results fell short of the expectations surrounding such a high-profile release. The book also attracted controversy. Some online commentators pointed to similarities they believed existed between The Bench and other children's books, while supporters dismissed those claims. Another criticism frequently raised was the contrast between the book's theme of family bonds and the well-publicized tensions within Meghan's own family relationships. As with many projects linked to Harry and Meghan, the discussion often became as big as the project itself. Now, attention is turning back to Harry's future. Reports suggest he could spend more time in the UK ahead of the 2027 Invictus Games, reconnecting with charities and public causes that have long been associated with his work. However, questions remain about his relationship with the royal family, his ongoing security concerns, and whether any meaningful reconciliation is still possible. The biggest mystery is whether the divide between Harry and William can ever truly be repaired. Years of public disagreements, interviews, books, and headlines have left deep scars, and many royal watchers believe the road back would be extremely difficult. What do you think? Is there still a path for Harry to rebuild those relationships, or has too much happened for things to ever return to normal? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. And don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts. We'd love to hear your take on the story.